When I first became director, one of my board members sent me to a strategic leadership seminar, two-week seminar at Stanford. And I came back with many ideas, one of which was the handbook for Nordstrom's, which was used as an example of just motivational kind of retail, was listen to your customer, use your best good judgment. And I came back to the senior staff meeting, and I said, I really like that. Listen to our audience, use your best good judgment. It drove them crazy. The next step in that process was 3 or 4 years later, I'd gone to a Harvard program. Then I was at the AAMD, the Museum Directors Meetings. And somebody got up there who had found Jesus, and the kind of Jesus that I've been searching for ever since, namely this shared ownership, this responsibility, this really engendering a sense of participation in a broad group. He says, I give projects to working groups. And I said, if you fail, that's fine. So I came back with that idea. And I'll never forget the conversation that engendered. Oh, you can't do that. That's irresponsible. So how did I get from there, roughly in the year 2000, 10 years ago, 6 years into my directorship, I was still struggling with a few of the staff members on this notion of empowering a broad range of staff. To the point we are right now, I think the key step is education. Because of my 9 senior staff, all of them, in one form or another, have taken part in NAS, Getty Leadership Institute, Stanford programs, Harvard programs, and each one of them brings back a piece to that puzzle. And when we assemble the puzzle, we've created what I would say is this culture of continuous education. So, again, to kind of roll the tape back, it's one thing to acknowledge change. Another thing to work from the premise of restless dissatisfaction. That's the responsibility of a public servant, which is what we are. But it's a third thing to be able to realize an outcome and to have that outcome embedded in culture. Because once it's embedded in culture, it's self-starting and it's self-perpetuating. You've done the thing that counts the most when you arrive at the point when that thing can take care of itself.
Exactly. When
its values, its mission, its energies and outcomes are all in sync. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. And sometimes I totally despair of having made any progress. But then I turn around and yes, we've made progress. We've made a lot of progress. And the other thing that I think is symptomatic of making progress is I don't feel defensive about anything, or virtually nothing anymore. And I think that's symptomatic of the recognition that I don't own it. This is not, for example, this notion of vision, this idea that somehow directors have vision. I just love this idea. The new director of the X museum comes in. The first thing is, there's something wrong with the lobby. Ooh, there's something wrong with the exhibition program. Ooh, there's something. And this is part of a vision. And of course, the newspapers will ask that person what the hell their vision is. They can't have a vision. I mean, that's nonsense. First of all, it's inappropriate in a public institution for somebody to co-opt vision. It has to be something that grows collaboratively, and it has to be grounded in an awareness of the reality that the institution faces, and it takes time to learn that. And so I think this whole notion of multiple owners and collaboration is an immensely freeing process. And I still struggle with a few of my curators. If I have 9, there's 2 of the 9 that still struggle with this idea, and I struggle with them. This is my gallery. This is my exhibition. This is my idea. When we get away from that, not only is it appropriate that we get away from that because it's just not right. We don't own the art. We don't own the outcome. We don't own the audience. But in the process of giving up that control, you find ultimate control and peace of mind because you really see how much better the product is when there are multiple owners on it.